Shalom, family. Shalom, Mishpaka. And this is your host, Brian Anthony Binyah with Beyond Babbitt reporting for duty. Your host, Brian Anthony Binyah with Beyond Babbitt reporting for duty. Reporting to you live from behind enemy lines. Reporting to you live from the United States of Israel. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Got a treat for you guys. Since the Most High has granted me access to some more books, these books, a lot of books that they've taken out, a lot of things tying into what we were already going into, right on time. So we have a treat for you guys today. We're going to do a new series, guys. Higher Level, Higher Devil. We're going to get an understanding about, some other things here. So, when you look at the table of kings of Israel, most of them were evil, right? Almost all of them were evil. They did some bad things. And that's really starting with Shaul. You only had a few good ones in there, And so, the kingdom split after Solomon, and both sides were bad, pretty much. So I think we may be looking at one of the exceptions to the rules here. We're going to look at some stuff. We're going back to the book of the Ascension of Isaiah the prophet, the martyrdom of Isaiah. And it's over the text we went over on the last video. We covered a lot of information, and there was a lot of meat in there that we just ran over because there was a few things we wanted to point out. And so we're going to make sure that we get to it. So let's see if we can get an understanding for this, because this is relevant to today's date and times, the things that are going on now, because there's nothing new under the sun. And we're going to see how this righteous king reacted, his interactions with the prophet, with the people, with the Most High Yah, and with the enemy, and how ours should be if we call ourselves followers of Hamashiach. Okay? So, if you have this book, turn to the Ascension of Isaiah, the prophet, chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, in the 26th, now, we're gonna find out some things here that we probably didn't know from just reading the 66 books. So pay attention here. In the 26th year, right? 26th. In the 26th year of his reign, Hezekiah, king of Judah, okay, the kingdom was split. So this is the king of Judah, Hezekiah, summoned Manasseh, his son. So his son, okay, watch this. For he was his only son. So Hezekiah, the king of Judah, had one son. We don't know how many wives or concubines he had. Maybe he only had one. Maybe, who knows? At this point, we don't know. But we know he only had one son. Maybe he had daughters. Maybe he didn't have any children. Maybe this is his only son right here. And remember, we were saying Hezekiah was a righteous king, a righteous ruler. And we're going to find out. And this Manasseh was his only son. Okay, so let's just go over that one more time. In the 26th year of his reign, Hezekiah, king of Judah, summoned Manasseh, his son, for he was his only son. He summoned him in the presence of Isaiah. Okay, so the king had access to the prophet. Likewise, the prophet had access to the king. Okay, so this was to, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let everything be established. Isaiah the prophet was a real prophet, so he wanted to certify some things. And he brought his son forth and the prophets. So verse 2. Manasseh, his son, for he was his only son. Right there. And it says, he summoned him in the presence of Isaiah, the son of Amos the prophet, and the presence of Josab, the son of Isaiah, in order to hand over to him the words of righteousness, which the king himself had seen. The king himself had seen. The words of righteousness, which the king himself had seen. And the words concerning the eternal judgments and the torments of Gehenna, that's hell, and the prince of this world, Hasatan, and his angels, these are the fallen, and his authorities, okay, look at his authorities, and his powers, and the words concerning faith in the beloved, faith in Yeshua, which he himself had seen in the 15th year of his reign during his sickness. And we're going to pause right there. So it started off saying in the 26th year of his reign, okay, is when he called everybody to him, right, to himself, right? And he said he's seen this vision and all this in the 15th year when he was sick. We know what happened in his sickness, right? He got 15 years added to his life. Okay, so if you subtract 15 from 26, that's like, that's 11, right? So in other words, if he's telling this story is coming forth in the 26th year of his reign, 11 years after his sickness, he only has about 4 years left to go, right? Because he got 15 years added to his life. Is that making sense? Let's try it again. In the 26th year, this is verse 1. In the 26th year of his reign, Hezekiah, king of Judah, summoned Manasseh his son, for he was his only son. He summoned him in the presence of Isaiah, the son of Amos the prophet, and in the presence of Josab, the son of Isaiah, the son of, in order to hand over to him the words of righteousness, which the king himself had seen, and the words concerning the eternal judgments and the torments of Gehenna, and the prince of this world, and his angels, and his authorities, and his powers, and the words concerning faith in the beloved, which he himself had seen in the 15th year of his reign during his sickness. So Hezekiah got a whole revelation of all this information, and it was written down, because he said he wanted to hand it over to Isaiah and the prophets. All the stuff it went over. He talked about the Satan and his hierarchy, everything that's going on in hell, and even he saw the Messiah. Hezekiah did. King Hezekiah in his sickness. Who knows? Maybe he was sick and he was crying out and got this revelation. You remember? We're going to go to that. Actually, let's go to that now. So, we're going to pause right here out of the Ascension. And so this is going to be called Higher Level, Higher Devil, guys. Part 1. Higher Level, Higher Devil, Part 1. The righteous king was sick. And he was going to die. Let's go to it. Isaiah 38. We're going to do some skipping around here. Okay. Isaiah 38. Okay, starting at verse 1. And in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Remember, David said it the other way, live and not die. Isaiah just told this man, the righteous prophet, the righteous king, the Most High sent him by to tell him, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto Yahuwah. See that capital L-O-R-D? Yahweh, Yahuwah. Yod-He, Wah-He, Y-H-W-H. Verse 3, and said, remember now, O Lord, O Yahuwah, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart. See, he knew it. That's why he said it in his prayer. And have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of Yahuwah to Isaiah, saying, go and say unto Hezekiah, thus saith Yahweh, the God of David, thy father, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen, let me move this thing. I have seen thy tears. There we go. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years. I will add unto thy days 15 years. And I will deliver thee and this city. I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. And I will defend this city. Okay, this is God saying this. This is the Most High Yah. And this shall be a sign from the Lord, that Yahuwah will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backwards. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down. The writing of Hezekiah, so Hezekiah does have some writing somewhere. See? The writing of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness. That's what we just read, guys. That's what they removed. That's what they removed. And we still don't have all of the insight that he had, that he said, that he saw, that he was given to Isaiah. Let's skip down here to verse 20. And it says, the Lord was ready to save me. Therefore, we will sing my songs to the stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of Yahuwah. For Isaiah had said, let them take a lump of figs, right up here, take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also had said, what is the sign that I shall go up to the house of Yahuwah? Okay. So basically, he was sick unto death, and there was some kind of boil he had. Some kind of boil he had. But he cried to Yahuwah. He didn't go to no doctors. He didn't try to get no vax. He turned to the wall and prayed. And he had an experience. and he saw a lot of something which was written down. And when we get to part 2 of this, we'll touch on a little more of that. So right now, let's go to the book of 2nd Chronicles. But whatever Hezekiah saw was hidden. But whatever Hezekiah saw was the reason that that he had called those guys to himself, right? 1st and 2nd Chronicles. We're going 1st and 2nd Kings. 1st and 2nd. Yeah, he had. That's the reason he had called those guys to himself, Isaiah and his son. And so Hezekiah had only one son, right? What did I say? I said from 2nd Chronicles 32. Right here, 32. Okay, we're gonna do this thing here. Okay, so Hezekiah had only one son, and with part 2, we're going to find out his son was not like Hezekiah. We'll just say that. He was not a righteous guy. And so we don't know what become of Hezekiah's writings, because he said he gave it to Isaiah, and maybe Isaiah added it to some of his stuff. But he had an experience when he was sick. He got 15 years added to his life. He had 4 more years left to go. So he was giving the information over to Isaiah and his sons, and his only son, which was Manasseh. And so what kind of character, because we saw that the Most High Yah said, I will defend this land. I will defend this people. He said he was going to do it. Okay. Let's read the same thing over here in 2nd Chronicles, chapter 32. Okay. And these things, wait a minute. I'm trying to get it focused here. And these things and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, remember that's who took the northern kingdom. Sennacherib took the northern kingdom. Yeah, that's what scattered the 9, remember? The 10 or the 9. After these things and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered into Judah. He entered in and encamped against the fenced cities. Time to fight. And thought to win them for himself. Okay, what kind of person was Hezekiah? Righteous? Okay, what a righteous man do? Verse 2. And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was purposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him. This is what the righteous man is doing. Then the Most High uses his vessels to fight too. Most High gonna use everything when he start fighting. He gonna chunk the weather at you. Nature is gonna attack you. The insects, everything. Animals gonna attack you. But he gonna use his vessels to fight too. It's something you gotta do. The angels gonna fight with you. Oh yeah, all kind of stuff going. Hailstones and yeah, all kind of stuff fight with you when the Most High fighting with you. But it's something you got to do too. Besides just praying, yeah, and showing love, yeah. But you're going to have to bust a sweat too. You're going to have to get your knees dirty, get your hands dirty, get your toes in the water, jump off the porch. Get off that big lazy bar couch. It's something you got to do. It's more than just, I just believe. No. It's something it's an action you have to take. Oh, I just got faith. Verse 3, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water? We're going to starve them out. When they come, we're going to starve them out. Something we got to do too. We already praying. Yeah, man, we got to do our part. And the angels, everybody else going to do your part. You going to do your due diligence? Toss you a few stones. Get you a sling. Join in the fun. Also, he strengthened himself and built up all the wall that was broken and raised it up to the towers and another wall without and repaired Milo in the city of David and made darts and shields in abundance. It don't sound like they're just going to be on the couch praying, does it? Yeah, God going to fight the battle. But it's something you're going to have to do too. You got to know it's real. It's a physical warfare that's going to follow this spiritual warfare. You got to know that. You're going to be a sheep and just lay down and die? Or you're going to be a lion and get you some prey? Verse 6. And he set captains of war. Read that again. And he set captains of war over the people and gathered them together to him in the street of the gate of the city and spake comfortably to them, saying, Be strong and courageous, be not afraid, nor dismayed, for the king of Assyria. He said, don't worry about him. But he ain't just saying don't worry and sitting on the couch. He's saying don't worry, and he done made weapons and everything. They done stopped the water up and everything. And they saying don't worry. You see what I'm saying? Because it's something that you have to do to not worry. You see what I'm saying? He ain't just saying don't worry and ain't did nothing. He done already been praying. And this is the revelation he got. It's something you got to do. The righteous king. Be strong, verse 7. Be strong. Let's see if I can get this for you out better. Okay. Be strong and courageous. Be not afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor for all the multitude that is within him. That is with him. Nor for all the multitude that is with him. For there be more with us than with him. For with him, I'm adding the word. For there be more with us than with him. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is Yahuwah, our Elohim, to help us and to fight our battles. He said, help us. So now if you saying help us, that means you doing something, you just need a little help. You know what I mean? It ain't that you working for us, like slaving for us. You helping us. I'm working, we need some help. Come. And then, the Most High really is fighting the battle because he got way more power. And he going to chunk everything at him. And the people rested themselves upon the words of Hezekiah, king of Judah. After this did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, send his servants to Jerusalem, but he himself laid siege against Lachish, and all his power with him, unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, and unto all Judah that were at Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith Sennacherib, king of Assyria. Then listen to how this guy talks. Whereon do ye trust that ye abide in the siege of Jerusalem? Doth not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die in famine? That's what they're saying. They're going to starve you out if you don't take the beast mark. And by thirst, saying, Yahuwah our Elohim shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria. He act like Yahuwah couldn't deliver him. Man, if you get sick, Yahuwah deliver you from that anyway. Hath not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Judah and Jerusalem, saying, Ye shall worship before one altar and burn incense upon it? Know ye not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands. Were the gods of the nations of those lands anyways able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed that could deliver his people out of mine hand, that your God should be able to deliver you out of mine hand? Now therefore, let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this manner, neither believe him, neither believe him, for no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand. The nerve of this guy, man. Who do you think he is? You're talking to the children of the Most High Yah, his only son. And out of the hand of my fathers, how much less shall your God deliver you out of mine hand? And his servant spake yet more against the Lord God and against his servant Hezekiah. And he wrote also letters to rail on the Lord. Look, he wrote letters. I wish they gonna release these letters. We'll get these letters, guys. Hold on right quick. We'll get these letters. It says, verse 17. He wrote also letters to rail on Yahuwah, Elohim of Yasharal, and to speak against him, saying, as gods of the nations of other lands have not delivered their people out of mine hand, so shall not the God of Hezekiah deliver his people out of mine hand. You done messed up now. You done cursed yourself. You done said the wrong thing. Verse 18. Then they cried with a loud voice in the Jews' speech, they speak in Hebrew, unto the people of Jerusalem that were on the wall to affright them. Look at this psychological warfare. That's what they're doing now. They're scaring people into taking the beast mark. Hold on, guys. Okay, here we go. That's what they're doing now. They're scaring you. Like I knew a whole bunch of people, different people just quote unquote catch the COVID, right? Nobody died from it. Nobody. But then you got people, almost everybody who done took the mark, then died from that. Or is just deadly ill. Might as well be dead. They done scared them into taking it. So that's what's happening right here. Nothing new under the sun. Verse 18. Then they cried with a loud voice in the Jews' speech unto the people of Jerusalem that were on the wall to affright them and to trouble them. And to trouble them that they might take the city. And they spake against the God of Jerusalem and against the gods of the people of the earth, which were the work of the hands of man. And for this cause Hezekiah the king and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, prayed and cried to heaven. The prophet and the king prayed together and cried to heaven. See? And so that's why another reason why Isaiah was verifying the vision of the stuff that Hezekiah saw. And that's why he was giving it, when he was in his sickness. Remember, this is the time when he was sick. Hezekiah was sick during this time, and that's when he had the experience with the Most High Yah. But the righteous man was fighting back. Righteous man wasn't laying down. He wasn't going to let nobody punk him and taking no beast mark. He ain't finna give it up. He crying out to the Most High Yah and prepare for war. Come what may. And the Most High told him he was going to deliver it. That's right. And he even told his people, don't worry about it. At the same time, he made weapons and shields of defense. He was ready. Ready. Okay, verse 20. And for this cause Hezekiah the king and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, prayed and cried to heaven. And the Lord sent an angel The Lord sent an angel which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and the captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. Most High did that. Boom. So he returned with shame of face to his own land. Uh-oh. He got his butt kicked. All that noise you talk, you done got your rump handed to you. Get! And when he was coming to the house of his God, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him. His kids killed him, his own sons. Slew him there with the sword. You can't fight against the Most High Yah. You can't fight against his kids and blaspheme the Most High Yah. Your own kids kill you. Verse 22. Thus, Yahuwah saved Hezekiah. Yahuwah did it. You see what I'm saying? He fought the battle. He turned him turned him back like that. Slaughtered his people. But Hezekiah had to fight. He knew he was going to win. Even though he was outnumbered physically, he told them, don't worry, because there's more with us than at them. He was counting them. He was counting the angels and everybody. But he still had to fight. He ain't going to, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't on the couch. He was on the battlefield. That's why he said, don't worry. Verse 22. Thus, the Lord saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all other, and guided them on every side. And many brought gifts unto the Lord to Jerusalem, and presents to Hezekiah, king of Judah, so that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from thenceforth. He came like a king of the earth, pretty much, because he stood up to the big bully. Israel was recognized. Judah, should I say, because Israel got took. In those days, Hezekiah, this is verse 24, in those days Hezekiah was sick to the death, and prayed unto the Lord, and he spake unto him, and he gave him a sign. But Hezekiah rendered not again according to the benefit done unto him, for his heart was lifted up. Therefore there was wrath upon him, and upon Judah and Jerusalem. Notwithstanding, Hezekiah humbled himself for the pride of his heart, both he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the wrath of the Lord came not upon them in the days of Hezekiah. Because Hezekiah didn't go. Now, the northern kingdom went. Hezekiah wasn't going. He didn't go. He fought. The righteous king fought. See, one time he got lifted up. Everybody can get lifted up. I mean, especially if you have a great body of work out there, you know what I'm saying? You can get puffed up. You can get haughty and a big ego. And the Most High got to humble you sometimes. Sometimes the more puffed up they get, the bigger they get, the more people are attracted to them. And the bigger they are, the bigger the fall. We got to pray for our brethren. Keep them on the right path, because some of them is going off. Let's see. Verse 20. Notwithstanding, Hezekiah humbled himself for the pride of his heart, both he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the wrath of the Lord came not upon them in the days of Hezekiah. And Hezekiah had exceeding much riches and honor, and he made himself treasures for silver, and for gold, and for precious stones, and for spices, and for shields, and for all manner of pleasant jewels, storehouses also for the increase of corn and wine and oil, and stalls for all manner of beasts, and coats for flocks. Moreover, he provided him cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance. And remember, he only had one son, right? This is going to be continued, guys. Stay with us. This is going to get deep. This is going to get deep. He had all this and had one son. Moreover, he provided him cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for Yahuwah had given him substance very much. This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse of, what is that? Where was I? Gihon. This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse of Gihon and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David. Aquifer, guys. They had running water. This guy made running water come that way. Way before Rome. And Hezekiah prospered in all his works. It's the blessings of Deuteronomy 28. Howbeit, in the business of the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, who sent unto him to inquire of the wonder that was done in the land, God left him to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart. That's what that was. It was to try him. It's not that Hezekiah just was wicked. At one point he was a little puffed up, but he humbled himself. But God left him to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart. Now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and his goodness, behold, they are written in the vision of Isaiah the prophet. Okay, so we can find some in Isaiah. The son of Amos, wonder if it was what we just read in Isaiah 38 over there. And in the book of Kings of Judah, okay, we read that in Kings. What was that? Now, we was in the Chronicles. We're going to go to the Kings the next time. I'm saying, and in the book of the Kings of Judah and Israel, and Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the chiefest of sepulchres of the sons of David and all Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem did him honor at his death, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead. So we're going to pause right there, guys. And we're going to, when we get to part 2, we're going to talk about old Manasseh. But this is a higher level, higher devil. Part 1. Even the righteous king had to stand up, had to do something, had to make a declaration with his faith in Yahuwah, not in his own abilities, with his faith in Yahuwishi, Son of the Most High Yah. And that knowing that the promises of the Most High Yah are yea and amen, and he wasn't going to leave him or forsake him. He would never leave him or forsake him. Never seen the righteous forsaken nor seed begging bread. Anyway, this is your host, Brian Anthony Binyah, with Beyond Babbitt, saying peace and blessings. Shalom, shalom. Thank y'all for joining in. Till the next time. Love y'all. Amen.